Hello everybody and welcome to Brony FanFics. Today, Crest of Equestria, Chapter 10. Last time we got to see the raw power and personality of the main six counterparts, which was very interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of them and how the main six deals with them. But that will have to wait, because now it's Crest of Equestria, Chapter 10, Interjection. I'm still not sure I'm liking this plan, Fletcher said pointedly. When I said you might know a faster route, this was not what I was expecting. I was expecting an actual shortcut, to be honest, Lockwood frowned. This is more of an alternate route, if I may be a sticker of accuracy. Well, why didn't you say so before? TikTok huffed. I did say so before, both Flathoof and Lockwood said simultaneously. Lockwood continued. Look, there has to be another way through, or around, or something. I understand time is of the essence, but charging through an active volcano, a whole range of them I might add, seems to not be worth the risk. Behind them, only a few miles away, the terrain gradually shifted from barren greys and browns into dark reds and blacks. Sharp inclines replaced the flat stretches, and relatively clear sky above them slowly became one completely covered in smoke and ash. The Red Blade Mountains were nothing if not impressive to see. The group had made camp some distance away, such that they wouldn't be sleeping in range of any accidental volcano activity. A blue and purple flame flickered at the centre of the campsite, magically crafted by Twilight Sparkle. Nearby, their limited collection of saddlebags rested in wait. They had dropped a few back at the gate in their hurry to escape, but luckily their supply was not entirely dwindled. The bags carried several ration supplies, $1 blue and liquefied $1 green. The blue, according to every pony present, tasted like eating toothpaste. The green tasted like slightly soggy green beans. But since it was liquid, it was like drinking very soggy green beans. But as Lockwood had made abundantly clear, they were healthy and filling and easy to ration. Every pony agreed with him on that point. Well, duh, they're easy to ration, Pinky complained. They taste terrible. Their other supplies had not been so lucky. Originally, they'd collected some low-quality but better-than-nothing sleeping bags for each of them. But now they were down to 3, 2 of which had insisted to be given to the less hardy and robust members of the party, Rarity and Fluttershy. The other was being given out in a rotation of sorts. They also had no changes in clothes, something Rarity found to be an unmitigated disaster. So those that they had were starting to get rather uncomfortable. Other than that, their journey hadn't gotten off too bad to a start. I understand your worry, TikTok sighed, but I'll say again. For the 10th time now, I think, this is the fastest route through the coast. The Red Blade Mountains are only a few days' hike from the gate, and travelling across is only a few more. We'll be at Hope's Point in maybe a week, give or take a day. The other route, across the wastelands proper, in the old Griffin territories, is at least twice as long if we don't stop to rest often. We can't risk that kind of time. Still, seems too risky, Flathoof sighed. Not all of us have extensive mountain climbing experience, or can fly for that matter. It's not a problem, really it isn't, TikTok insisted. I take this route all the time to get to the coastal region. I was just going along with every pony else was saying. If I had known these Red Blade Mountains were a range of volcanoes, Twilight interjected, I might have voiced my disagreement sooner. How is this not a problem? We're risking eruptions, magma, and all that kind of stuff. This place is like a death trap. Fluttershy visibly squeaked in worry at those last words. I've lost my place. Hang on. Surely the heat alone would be a danger, Rarity added, not to mention the horrors it will reap upon my mane. Do you have any idea how hard it is to keep my perfect shine when we have no resources to spare? The heat is no trouble, I assure you of that, TikTok explained. For some ponies so well versed in magic, Twilight, I'm surprised you don't know about the PTAs. Personal temperature auras are designed to protect from cold and heat, yes, but not at these extremes. Not at these extremes. At least not that I'm aware of, Twilight said, narrowing her eyes. Besides, you're joking about using one, right? To protect the entire group. They're called personal for a reason. Not at all. I use one to traverse the area all the time. It works wonders. It doesn't guard you from all the heat, but at least not enough to make you comfortable. But it does protect you from enough to allow safe travel. And with our magical ability, it should be little trouble to extend the spell over the entire group. I have no idea what's going on, huffed Rainbow Dash. But it sounds to me like every pony is agreeing to cross a mountain range of volcanoes. Active volcanoes. Now, I'm no expert or nothing, but does any pony else think it sounds, well, stupid? I'm with Dash, nodded Applejack. This sounds plumb boneheaded. If in my opinion matters any, I ain't never seen any volcano up close and personal like before. But I've heard of plenty of them. I've heard of them in plenty of stories when I was a little filly. Ain't they super dangerous? Of course they're super dangerous, Pinkie Pie jumped. But using common story logic, the adventurers must always pass over the most dangerous regions if they wish to take the shortest route. I mean, come on. That's like cliche number 1. Or was it 3? 14? I forget. Pinkie, this is real life. Not one of your little storybooks, Twilight rolled her eyes. Pinkie looked off to the side somewhere. Whatever you say, Twilight, she winked. We've already come all this way, TikTok groaned. If we change routes now, then the past 3 days will have been totally wasted. If you didn't bloody want to come this way, you should have made your case earlier. I gave you all the opportunity to. You didn't tell us it was a damn volcano, Rainbow blurted, stepping forward aggressively. You blindsided us. We all thought they were normal mountains, not volcanoes. Get it through your head. With Twilight's aura spell up, it might as well be a bleeding regular mountain range, TikTok shouted back. You don't even know if she can do that. Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence, Rainbow, Twilight said flatly. Rainbow turned red. That's not what I meant, she flustered. I just mean, it's risky to put all our lives into the confidence that you'll be able to modify a spell you've never really used before. Really, darling, you should be upfront about this, Rarity frowned. I would have gladly preferred to take a longer, safer route if I knew this was the alternate option. If I can say something, Fluttershy interjected. The arguers all looked in her direction in surprise. I mean, if that's okay with you guys. Go on, darling, Rarity said sweetly. What is it? Well, I agree with Miss TikTok. We should cross these, volcanoes. You do? Rainbow said, jaw agape. But you can't be serious. I want to go home. I miss my little angel, she sniffed. If I have to brave these dangers to see him sooner, I will. I'll do anything if it means going home faster. Well, don't that beat all, Applejack sighed. Hear that, Rainbow? Fluttershy here just out-braved us. Now don't I feel a mite small? Rainbow scuffed a hoof in the dirt. I was willing to do it. I was just looking out for you guys, Not everyone can just fly over or around like me. I'm no chicken. Well, if Fluttershy's up for it, I have no objections, Twilight nodded. Me neither, agreed Applejack. And to be honest, I would like the chance to test out this theory of extending a PTA over a full travelling party. I don't usually get a chance to experiment with spells like that. It's just easier to wear heavy clothes in winter time. Well, TikTok, I suppose you've got your majority vote, Flutter sighed. I guess my better judgment, I guess this was what we're doing. Against my better judgment, I guess this is what we're doing. I sure hope you've got a plan. Good. Glad to hear it. We'll start our hike in the morning, TikTok smiled. For now, we can get a good night's rest. We've been moving faster than usual today. How can you tell what time it is? Twilight said as she looked skyward. The sky above was now much clearer than it had been inside the city. A horribly ominous mix of oranges and reds and purples that covered all they could see. No clouds, no stars, no sun. Just a murky, magical-looking smoky substance. The sky looks pretty much exactly the same, just less smog. I've been wondering that myself, Lockwood followed suit. At least in the city you can gauge it based on the pony activity and crowd size. I wish I'd thought to bring a watch. Exasperated, TikTok raised an eyebrow. Hello, Chronomancer. Special talent deals with time. I'm a walking bloody clock. And your name is TikTok, Pinkie Pie nodded knowingly. Right, yes? TikTok tilted her head. Thank you for still stating what we already know. And she's good friends with the dog. Pinkie nodded again. Yes. And your knowledge of time, would you say you had a large stock? Pinkie said, waggling her eyebrows. And you're using it to help us guide this flock? Okay, I see where this is going, TikTok sighed. You do? I'm shocked, Pinkie gasped. You'd better cut it out before I knock you off your block, Oh, she's good, Pinkie nodded in approval. She's better than you, Dashi. Rainbow rolled her eyes. What a crock. Pinkie snorted into her hoofs. If we're all done with the fun and games, Fluthoof sighed, TikTok is right. We should get some rest before the hike. I'll take first watch again. But first, let's eat, Twilight nodded as she opened some of the saddlebags, floating out little blue and green packages to every pony. Fluthoof yawned heavily. The dim light of magically crafted fire flickered against his back. He fought the urge to tip his hat over his eyes and get some well-deserved shut-eye. Bad idea, he thought, fighting the idea away. While they'd yet to encounter any pursuers from the city, and he'd very much doubted the MPAF cared enough to pursue a group of obviously out of their mind ponies across the Red Blade Mountains, he was more concerned with any natural predators roaming around. He was thankful it was the winter season. Very few creatures hunted during the winter, as far as he was aware. A lucky break, as that all his trouble was happening now. Most of them either hibernated or migrated away for food. Still, if they attracted the attention of some of the still active hunters, there'd be a great deal of trouble. Y'all look like you could take a break. Flathoof turned his head to acknowledge her presence. You still awake, Applejack? You really should be... He interrupted himself with a yawn. Getting some sleep. Y'all could say the same about yourself, she snickered. Hang on. Sorry, I just thought someone was about. Okay, now I'm gonna have to continue this reading in a bit. See you in a sec. Right, sorry about that. Freaking window cleaners are around. I thought my parents were coming back. Applejack, you should really be... He interrupted himself with a yawn. Getting some more sleep. Y'all could say the same about yourself, she snickered. Twilight and TikTok said they'd take the next watch. I've got maybe an hour. Another yawn. Or so left. Consider yourself relieved, she smiled. I ain't quite as tired yet. And to be honest, I should have been taking the first watch. I'm used to the long days and nights. Nonsense. I wouldn't hear anything of the sort. Don't try to act all macho with me, sugar, she smiled. It don't really suit you. He chuckled. Perhaps you're right. With another look at the smouldering red tops of the mountains in the distance, he delivered a heavy sigh. I suppose I'm just trying to keep my mind off certain things. Whenever I sleep, I dream. I'd rather put that off, if I could. She frowned. It's about her, ain't it? If you need to get something off your chest, I'm here to listen. Flathoof looked at the ground in thought. They do have magma berries in your world. What berries? She blinked. I ain't heard of nothing like that. What are they? They're a very rare delicacy around these parts. Sweet on the outside, spicy on the inside. Or was it the other way round? Very popular in deserts around the holidays. My cousin Bunt Cake works for a catering company that specialises in working with them. Since the Red Blade Mountains are the only place in all of Equestria they grow, so they're usually pretty expensive. Sounds awfully fancy. I ain't never been one to like them high floating foods. I prefer my eats nice and simple like. Trust me, if you could handle the spice, they're to die for. He smiled. They're actually best raw, even better frozen. All the prep work does is tone down the spice. I think you'd like them. If y'all say so, she nodded. Anyway, my cousin always sends out a few magma berry treats around the holidays. One year I invited Snapshot over, since she and her family were kind of on the outs. Snapshot had never had magma berries before. He smiled for a moment. We all got a good laugh. She couldn't handle it at first, but they grew on her. His smile turned to a solemn frown. A few weeks ago, she asked me about this year's holiday, to know if we were having them again. It's only a month away, after all. She'd been doing some research on them, wanted to know about the different kinds of desserts. She asked me if I could get her a very special kind. Kept saying how she wanted to take a trip out here one day, to see where they grow. He sighed again. Seeing these damned mountains, knowing this is where she wanted to come. Applejack remained silent a moment. Then she removed her hat and placed it over her chest. I know too well how that feels, sugar. She hesitated. I'm sorry. If I'd known what this place here meant to you, Don't blame yourself, Applejack. He smiled. I don't. I knew we were coming this way. I chose not to argue with TikTok. I chose to deal with my memories. And I don't regret my decision. I've got to face these feelings eventually, and as much as I want to put some of them off, I know that there's no avoiding it. Well, that's awful strong of y'all, she said. She frowned lightly. I wish I could say the same about myself. After a few moments of silence, he turned to her and took a serious tone. Applejack, what happened to your parents? Surprised by the sudden question, she flustered for a moment. It's a long story, she said somberly. To be frank, I ain't told no pony about it. My friends know just the most basic thing, that they ain't with me no more. I don't feel comfortable talking about much more than that, so if we could... I wouldn't force you to talk about something if you didn't feel comfortable with. Thank you kindly. I don't mean to be a stick in the mud about it, but I understand, Applejack. You don't need to make excuses for me. He yawned loudly again. I hope those two get up soon. You're right, I need some rest. My offer's still standing, sugar. She smiled. Go on, get some sleep. I'll cover the rest of your shift. He smirked. Fine, you win. You and your friends have a real way of convincing me to do what you want. I'll have to watch out for that. As he got up and headed back into camp, Applejack stopped him. You all sure you don't need nothing else? Yep, pretty sure. He smiled, continuing his way. Thanks again, Applejack. Applejack nodded warily. Don't mention it, sugar. As he left earshot, Applejack shook her head dismissively. Did he just say what I think he did? Something in Applejack's head was deeply bothered by the utterance of a single word. She didn't know why. She heard that same word hundreds, perhaps thousands of times. Her brother used it. Her sister used it sometimes when imitating him. She'd used it herself once or twice. Why did it bother her all of a sudden? Applejack? Are you taking over for Flathoof? Applejack nearly jumped. Oh, Twilight, yeah, old Flathoof was getting mighty tired. I don't think he's used to late nights like this. Send him off to bed. Twilight tilted her head in concern. You alright, Applejack? You look pale. What? No, I'm fine. Sugar Cube, just thinking about something. No big deal. Where's TikTok? She ain't taking second watch with you? She's on her way, just gathering up that map again. She wanted to show me what kind of route we're going to be taking and make a plan for rest stops. You all need to be getting along with her, don't you? Applejack chuckled. Just a matter of time for y'all best friends. Twilight rolled her eyes. I wouldn't go that far. I like certain aspects of her, to be sure. She is quite intelligent, really knows the stuff about this world and all, but there's a few things I think she's gravely misinformed about. Applejack raised an eyebrow. Such as? Well, for one, the whole thing she tried to explain about magic, forces and stuff, it still bothers me, and I'm still trying to understand why she thinks like that. I've done a great deal of studying, and I know where her point of view comes from, but I know she's mistaken. I don't know why she's so adamant about it. All that talk went over my head last time you all arguing about it. Care to tell me what exactly does make sense? I don't like seeing ponies arguing about something for no good reason. Well, she says we all represent law forces, right? Yeah. And that we're all opposed to chaos forces, right? Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. We did find off Discord, right? Shoot, I forget what you called him. The fundamental representation and manifestation of the powers of chaotic magics, Twilight said, eyes half-lidded. Applejack nodded. Yeah, all that hogwash. Twilight rolled her eyes. Yes, well, think about that for a second. She's asking us, me, rather, to believe that Pinkie Pie represents a force of law, not chaos, our Pinkie Pie. Applejack touched her hoof to her chin. Now that y'all mention it, she did sort of enjoy old Discourse magic-y stuff, chocolate milk rain and all. See? It doesn't make sense. Don't get me wrong, I love Pinkie Pie. But she's not exactly the most, orderly. Well, I guess I can see your point, Twi, Applejack said firmly. But do you really need to argue in so much with her? It ain't bothering no pony, right? Twilight sighed. It bothers me. But I guess it's not so much that she's wrong, so much as she's so sure she's right, and won't listen to reason. She still has a thing or two to change her attitude. And you still have a thing or two to learn about listening. TikTok. Oh, that's TikTok. TikTok coughed from behind them. Ah! Twilight jumped. Oh, hey there, TikTok. How long have you been standing there? Long enough to know that I bloody well want to just get this all over with before you start trying to convince me I'm wrong about other fundamental world concepts, TikTok said flatly. Like maybe telling me what up is down and the moon is made of bloody cheese or something. Well, that's just... Twilight started. TikTok interrupted. Applejack, you can go to bed now, if you'd like. Twilight and I have matters to discuss, and we may be up a while. If y'all don't mind, I'd like to stay. I can't sleep. Don't feel that tired, Applejack said, looking off towards the camp. I got a few too many things on my mind, to be honest. Oh, well, actually, this is good, Twilight smiled. You've got better mountain climbing experience than I do, and even from here I can tell this range is rougher than Dragon Mountain back home. You'd probably make a better judge of what looks like a safer route than I would, if I can be honest. Well, thank you kindly, Twilight, Applejack smiled. I'd be more than happy to help. Good thinking, Sparkle. I suppose that experience might come in handy then, TikTok agreed. I usually take the quickest route through, but I'm also usually by myself. Travelling as a group is a little different. Fantastic, Twilight beamed. Let's get started, shall we? Look at them, Rainbow Dash whispered. She pointed an accusing hoof towards the trio of ponies. One earth pony and two unicorns, reading a map by the light of one of the unicorn's horns. They're all completely suckered in by this stupid plan. I can't believe we're going along with this, agreeing to go slogging through lava and rocks and smoke and ash, just asking for trouble. Well, Dashy, she did say we could have objected at any time, Piggy pointed out. Like I said, I don't know the mountains we're crossing were actually volcanoes. Just how stupid does she think we are, taking us across a dangerous place like that? I know I can just fly around it, but none of you can. Pinky made to speak up, but Dash kept talking. And no, don't say Fluttershy or Lockwood either. All that volcanic ash gets caught up in feathers, so you have to be able to fly really fast to get through before it makes it too difficult to fly. That, and I'm the only one with enough sense to have a pair of flight goggles. That Mr. Flathoof helped you find, Pinkie Pie pointed out again. Whatever, Rainbow rolled her eyes. Point is, they can't fly through the ash anyway without getting blinded. So we're all stuck walking along, climbing mountains covered with death and with very minimal means of an escape plan. If Twilight's busy focused on that aura spell or whatever, I doubt she'd be able to get a teleport up for every pony in an emergency. Well, Twilight and Applejack seem like they've got confidence in a plan, and so does TikTok. She says that she has plenty of experience climbing through here. Yeah, I heard, Rainbow grumbled. I just don't trust that we're not being led into some sort of trap or something. I don't know. I'm just still really suspicious of her motives. I get we're pressed for time. I get it, but that's no reason for taking risk. That's no reason to be taking. That's no reason to be risking every pony's lives like this. Well, at least you've moved on from not liking Mr. Lockwood. Pinkie rolled her eyes. Really, Dashy, you need to relax. Twilight trusts her, so we should trust her judgment, right? I suppose. Rainbow sighed. I'm just worried. Everything about this whole world just makes me feel uneasy. I don't know what it is. It wasn't that bad at first, and I was even willing to give those guys a chance, but something just seems really suspicious about everything. Cliché number 15, Pinkie said matter-of-factly. When things seem too convenient to be true, they usually are. Exactly, Rainbow pointed out. I was joking. You weren't supposed to agree. She ignored her and continued. Sure, we've gone into a few scrapes here and there, but other than that, this whole thing has just been going way too convenient. We get transported to a new world, into a city with millions of ponies, and the first one we really meet and talk to is Flathoof, who is just really nice guy. Rainbow frowned. To be honest, I feel bad for him too. I don't know what it feels like to lose some pony close to you. Aw, Pinkie smiled. That's sweet of you, Dashy. And he's the bestest friends with Lockwood, who is the best pony any pony could ever hope to know. Who has the solution to everything and is always willing to lend a helping hoof to every pony he knows. She said with a heavy sarcasm. He's too nice, if you ask me. I see the way he hangs around with Fluttershy and Rarity. And she sneered over in the direction of another trio sleeping in bags nearby. I've met guys like that before. You think they're all sweet and nice, but they really just want to get between your legs. Come on, you know those two. Yeah, I know Rarity's not stupid enough to fall for those kind of cheap tricks. She's dated enough guys to know what's what, Rainbow said quickly. And Fluttershy's probably too nervous and shy to even think about stuff like that anyway. She probably wouldn't fall for it either, but it still bugs me. Pinkie shrugged. Look, you really need to relax. Take it easy. Hakuna Matata. Everything will work out okay. Pinkie nuzzled in close to Rainbow. I don't like seeing you like this, Dashy. It makes me nervous. Rainbow blinked and nodded. Sorry, Pinks. I just worry about all of you. She leaned into Pinkie and tucked her wing around her. You most of all. Rarity? Are you awake? Rarity stirred slightly and began to mutter to herself in her sleep. Yes. I'll have the usual, please. Fluttershy prodded Rarity gently in the side. Rarity, I need to talk to you. Rarity got a pleased smile on her face. Oh yes, that is simply divine. A little lower, please. Ah, that's the spot. Fluttershy raised an eyebrow. What? Oh dear. She prodded a little harder. Rarity, wake up, please. You're having that dream again. Such strong hooves. I bet you're talented in other... Rarity! Fluttershy hissed as quietly as she could, before the unicorn's fantasies could continue. Rarity grumbled groggily. Fluttershy, is it morning already? No, Fluttershy peeped. I can't sleep, and I was hoping I could talk to you. Oh? Rarity yawned. I don't suppose this could wait until morning, could it? I was having the most amazing dream. I know, I heard, Fluttershy blushed. Oh, you did? Rarity smiled. Then she turned red as well. She chuckled dismissively. Oh, you did? Oh, well, what did you want to talk about again, darling? Well, I was wondering, do you think any pony is upset with me for agreeing with TikTok? Fluttershy flustered. Rarity looked surprised. Whatever do you mean? Why would you think such a thing? Well, I know that every pony was real upset that we were going to go that way. Do you think any pony is upset that I pushed us to go along with it? Oh, heavens, darling. I don't think you have to worry about anything like that, Rarity smiled. They were all just upset that Miss TikTok was completely forward with the issue. I think Rainbow Dash and Applejack had just surprised you of all ponies would be her advocate. I think they're more surprised, actually, that you made them feel less big, as 'twere. No pony could ever be upset with you, Fluttershy. I want to go home, Rarity. I don't like this place. I miss the colours and smells of home. I miss all my animal friends, Angel most of all. Rarity frowned. We all want to go home, my dear. We have loved ones we're worried about. Fluttershy sighed. I know, but you all seem so much more, accepting of things here. This place is nothing like home. It's dirty and cruel and dangerous and smelly and gloomy, and I don't like it here at all. I'd go as far as to say I hate it here. Rarity frowned. Oh, Fluttershy, you poor dear. Is there anything I can do to make you feel better? She placed her hoof gently on the timid Pegasus' shoulder. Anything at all. You just say the word. I want to know things are going to be okay. That will all be safe, Fluttershy shuddered. I'm so worried about everything. I'm scared. Rarity smiled lightly. Don't worry, darling. Everything will be just fine. After all, we have each other, right? And we have such knowledgeable guides with us to keep us safe. Well, I suppose that makes me feel a little better, Fluttershy nodded. Miss TikTok does seem to know. I was referring to Mr. Lockwood, of course, Rarity smirked. He has been a most gracious travelling companion, has he not? Oh, well, yes, Fluttershy squeaked. He's nice. I should say so, Rarity grinned. After all, these sleeping bags he provided are most comfortable, and they protect us from the elements. A shame that some of them were left behind, but he did insist that you got to use one. He insisted you got one as well, Fluttershy pointed out. Because I'm your friend, of course. The poor dear is nervous. I can tell. I think it's charming, actually. Fluttershy raised an eyebrow. Nervous? Why would he be nervous? Well, think about it, darling. You're a beautiful young mare and a former model, might I add. You're delicate and graceful and perhaps even a little vulnerable. Sweet and kind and... Wait, he's nervous because of me? Fluttershy stammered. Well, of course, Fluttershy, and why not? To think that back home there are so few stallions with real sense of mares, Imagine my surprise when I noticed. Funny how things like this work out. And we had to travel across dimensions to finally meet a decent stallion for such a wonderful mare as yourself. It would make for a wonderful romantic novel, don't you think? Oh dear, Fluttershy blushed. I had no idea. Oh, I know, darling. He does have such a fine job of hiding it. But a mare with a keen eye for these sort of things picks up on it quite quickly. The poor dear must be terrified of rejection. No wonder he isn't so upfront about it. Why, I'm sure that's the reason no pony back at home does it either. Come to think of it. Fluttershy made a tiny squeak. Oh, but what if... I don't suppose you were paying much attention to certain things back in the city. But really, darling, I can safely say that you two would be perfect for one another. Fluttershy raised an eyebrow. What makes you think... I mean, he's such a sensitive individual. Not unlike yourself. A little bolder than you in some respects, but but that's just the kind of companion you need. And while there aren't many animals around him to have much of an opinion of, he does care about the other ponies, especially those poor foals in the slums. Oh, that's right, she nodded. I thought that was awful nice of him. I wish there had been something we could do to help. And such a handsome, gentle colt too. It is a true shame that we are not back at home with him. Why, I've been looking for a stallion with his physique to try some male fashion lines. Maybe branch out a little of my repertoire. Can you imagine him in a snappy tuxedo? Ooh, or a sleek collared vest. Oh, the possibilities. I bet he could keep me busy for weeks, she winked. If I could get him away from you, of course. Fluttershy turned a little pink. Well, that does sound nice. I'm touched that you think he likes me and all, but what about the other mares? Wait, what about that other mare? Kenai, was it? They seem to have something between them. I wouldn't want to. Rarity gave a little laugh. Oh, I assure you, there's nothing going on there, my dear. Not to worry, darling. I'm sure everything works out between you two. Well, my name isn't Rarity. After all, what could be more generous than helping my closest, dearest friend find her one true love? She yawned lightly. Now, Liv, excuse me, I'd like to get back to my beauty sleep. Phew, Fluttershy breathed. Then her eyes shot open. Wait, what? I didn't ask for you to help Rarity. I'm certain if he... don't fall asleep. She prodded Rarity lightly, but she'd already dozed off. Rarity? Rarity! Oh dear. This is stupid. We've been travelling for 2 whole days, and we still haven't caught up with those losers. How are they still so far ahead of us? They didn't get that big a head start. Yes, Havocwing, and complaining about it is helping. How exactly? Starlight Shadow snapped. No pony wants to hear your whining. But boss, Havocwing started. Like it's not all that bad, Insipid interrupted with a smile. If we take a while, that's just more time I get to spend with Curatio. Is that a name, Curatio? I'm not sure. You're totally perfect and pretty and junk, Curie. Insipid nuzzled up against the blue pony, who sighed. I do not know which is worse, waiting to meet up with these clittons, or having to deal with this Zutalos. Fancy talk, Insipid cooed. Teach moi to talk all fancy, Curatio, sweetie. That would be très sweet of you, for sure. Curatio rolled her eyes. Perhaps another time, non? We shouldn't be far behind them now, Starlight explained. They're likely avoiding confrontation with any of the creatures out here, or at least what few are even standing around in the winter season. That gives us a speed advantage. None of those bugs are getting in our way. That much is for certain. I bet they'd tear those idiots apart. That's my point, Havocwing blurred. We should have caught up by now, if that was the case. Are you sure we're going the right way? Are you questioning my sense of direction? Starlight glared. Because it sounds like you're questioning my sense of direction. Havocwing gulped. No way, boss. I was just repeating something, Grayscale said. Yeah, that bucking traitor. How dare she? Starlight looked upwards to where Grayscale was slowly fluttering about. Grayscale Force, down here please, now. Grayscale yawned and lazily glided down. You called, boss? Grayscale, have you been questioning my sense of direction? Grayscale shrugged. Wherever you want to go is fine with me, boss. Starlight glanced over at Havocwing, who gave a nervous smile. I figured as much. That will be all, Grayscale. Whatever you say, I guess I'll just get back to flying around or something. She slowly took wing again. Starlight's horn began to glow dimly. Now, what was all that I heard about it being Grayscale who hated my idea, Curatio coughed. If I may, my Capitan, I think that Havocwing is merely trying to understand the situation. She is an idiot, after all, none? Havocwing glowered in her direction, but remained speechless. Starlight glared at her again, and she shrugged nervously. I just mean, what if they're not taking this route? Then all of this is wasting our time. Giving them a bigger lead, right? Starlight raised an eyebrow. There are only 2 routes to the coast, Havocwing, and they'd be beyond stupid and crazy to cross Red Blade Mountains. No, they're headed for Goldridge Pass and the Griffin territories. It's the only logical choice. I know they're stupid anyway, but Father insists that their guide, the Chronomancer, knows her way around out here. At least she's not stupid enough to lead them that route. Only 2 imbeciles would take the other way, Horatio chuckled. I know I would not want to go there. It would ruin my perfect mane, no? And it is perfect, Insipid sighed as she stroked it. I want a mane like yours, Curie. I'd go that way if it were me, Havocwing smirked. Horatio laughed. My point exactly. Havocwing shot a glare at her. Because I can take the heat. Hello, fireproof, bucking idiot. Like, watch your mouth, Havoc, Insipid hissed. Don't go bad-mouthing Horatio. Like, ponies get hurt when they start bad-mouthing Curie around me. My knight in shining armour, Horatio swooned, with a sarcastic tone. Insipid beamed extremely widely in response. Enough, all of you. I keep calling her Twilight. Starlight snapped. I don't know what every pony's getting all worked up for, Velvet said. I need to do a calm sort of suddenly appearing in the middle of the group. Horatio, Insipid, Havocwing all jumped in a bit in surprise. She was covered in a grimy greenish red substance. Quit doing that, Havoc spat. Gonna give me a bucking heart attack one of these days. Mitochondrial infraction, she drawled. Yeah, take your big words and Havocwing made to retort, then shuddered and decided instead to go on ahead. Whatever, creep job. As I was saying, I don't see what the big deal is. All these buggy things we've been killing has made this little trip fun. So much blood. She licked her lips and cleaned off some of the gunk. Oh, so tasty. Like, gross, Insipid blanched. Gagged me with a spoon. Yeah, I know. It's not quite as good as pony blood. I mean, I miss Mr. Jetstream already. Velvet frowned dejectedly. I should have rationed him a little more, shouldn't I? But Pegasus wings are just so good. Can we take a break, boss? Insipid pouted. All this walking is making me just, so tired, and I'm hungry for some reason now. And, wait, hungry? Starlight raised an eyebrow. We ate an hour ago. Why are you, I don't know, Velvet mentioned food or something, and now I'm hungry too. Suddenly, a voice from above said, So basically, you want to eat ponies too? Grayscale landed lightly amidst the group. Where did you come from? Insipid blinked. You never, talk. Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna try being a cannibal now, and I needed the moral support. I guess if you don't, that's okay too. Wait, Insipid scratched her head. Canny? Oh, total bath trip? Ooh, no, boss. Grayscale's being totally mean. Great, now you're whining too, Starlight groaned. I knew this trip was going to get on my nerves. Nuh-uh, I am totally not whining, boss. I'm complaining. Do you, want to hear whining? No! Starlight waved her hooves. She coughed and regained her composure. Ahem. No. Very well. I suppose we should be getting some rest as well. Grayscale. She saluted. Yeah, boss? We're making camp here. You have first watch. Grayscale shrugged. I am honoured that I get to stand here motionless for a few hours before any pony else. Excellent, Starlight nodded. Havocwing. Havocwing swooped over. Yeah, get a fire started. What else is new? She began to mutter to herself. So stupid, taking a break now. I ain't even bucking tired. Right, that was chapter 10. So they've had a bit of a travel. We got to hear every pony's opinions on the matter, and we got to see more of the counterparts, which is good. I don't know, for some reason the more Red Velvet's character gets creepier and creepier, I just seem to like her more. I think because it just makes her more relatable to Pinkamena. It's weird. But anyway, so yeah, that was chapter 10. Hopefully you'll join me for next time. Until then, keep spreading the magic of friendship, and I'll see you next time.